Alright, so for another video, I need to beat every single boss solo without plushes and items like that. No healing, no songs, just basically my character, their piece of equipment, a soul, and make sure it doesn't heal directly. So this is just the proof of that. So video is insanely long, as you can clearly tell, and that's because it's every single boss fight plus one repeat boss for reasons you'll see later. So first up, we have Gargaros. Gargaros is pretty easy. Just pick Shogunyan, Oni Smash. Like, I'm not even going to bother mentioning the kits. I'll link it. Well, not link. I'll paste it down in the description, and you can just look at it. So yeah, pretty cool. At some point, I'll probably add timestamps, but not as soon as this comes out because I don't really care to. Anyways, yeah, I'll peer in every now and then to give commentary on something I think is interesting, and yeah. Many bosses that have a projectile or ranged move, you can stand in that range to get them to just keep using their projectile ranged move. And if you have a character with like Usapion, Emperor mode, you can just force the boss to just stand still, and you can absolutely make fun of them, and it's very funny. Next up is Ogralus, and I guess I should mention now that I'm using the Blasters Plus Plus mod because that's just the only way you should be playing this game anymore. It's very fun. So I'm using Boxer Hovernyan. He's cool. I like him. So Ogralus is more special based, so he's even more susceptible to the ranged cheese. So yeah, I picked up the Defense Talisman here, but I'm not going to use it, so it's fine. So yeah, basically, many of these bosses aren't really difficult to solo by themselves. They're only difficult because of their summons, which is not a problem for any of these beginning bosses, but will become a problem much later. I just did this because I wanted to show how stupid the AI can be sometimes. Many of the bosses had their transition phase removed, and by transition I mean where you just chase them around, which is very convenient. So yeah, that's another reason you should play the Blasters Plus Plus mod. Also, yes, Hovernyan was in lag that entire time and invincible during it after his ultimate. It's a problem with some of the characters, but it's whatever. I get invincibility frames, so it doesn't really matter to me. Next up we have Orcanos. Orcanos is kind of a bit more difficult than the other two. Also, I picked Blizzaria here. I completely forgot that Orcanos was a drain element, which is weak to ice. It doesn't really matter, I just wanted to play Blizzaria, so sorry about that. I accidentally made the fight a little bit easier than it normally is, but still. So, Orcanos is on flat pot plains, so it's kind of annoying to kind of traverse around, but other than that, he's still pretty easy so far. Next up we have Gutsy Bones. Gutsy Bones is very easy, and you can tell because I'm using D rank Jibanyan. Now, I kind of sell a little bit, and I almost lose, but I hope I did this first try. I'd be kind of embarrassed if I didn't. But if you pick any decent character, he is insanely easy. The only really difficult thing about him is the black capsule, and that's not even a difficult problem for Gutsy Bones because it only takes up 1/4 of the stage instead of multiple like the other two do. So Gutsy Bones is insanely easy, and yeah, that's really all there is to say about it. Just kind of takes a while. And here we have our first instance of a summon. Now, obviously, Rattel and Broken Umbrella really aren't very difficult. I took so much damage there because I ran into the fire pool like an idiot. So, that's the only damage I take in this fight. So, it's really not that bad if you're just paying attention. So, again, like I said, the summons aren't really that difficult for Gutsy Bones, but once you start getting to the higher end bosses that kind of, do more at a time, then it starts to become quite a problem. But that's not for quite a while. Next up we have Goldy Bones, and I'm using Arachnievil, who is DPS incarnate. I could use a higher DPS character like Chanson or Tanbo, but Arachnievil's more fun because if I get hit once, I die. Now, I would do this against Glitzy Bones if Glitzy Bones didn't have his pitch black capsule cover all 4 tiles at once, which, as far as I know, is almost impossible to dodge with Arachnievil. But for Goldy Bones, he only does all 4 of them towards the end of the boss, but you can just kill before that happens. So, as you can see, Arachnievil does some pretty good damage, which, I think is pretty cool. Arachnievil is very fun to learn how to play. Next up, we have Glitzy Bones. Glitzy Bones is kind of in a tier above the other two, in my opinion, purely because of his Pitch Black Capsule. If he does that too many times, you're just kind of dead. So, I mean, you can get lucky with the cool green capsule, but I tried to not do it. I touched it once and healed 31 HP. That did not do anything. There are some other bosses that heal you more, like Kabuking, but I'll explain more when we get to him. It's basically impossible if you don't accept the healing, because then he heals. And, yeah. So here we go, Pitch Black Capsule. I think you only get hit once from them. Nope, you get hit multiple times. But if you kind of just use fallback attack and delay a little bit, then it's not too bad. But, you know, you might think, okay, well, if he does it again, you're kind of just dead. But as you can see, I'm kind of getting really close to my Ultimate. Not, you know, immediate, but there you go, he's doing Pitch Black Capsule again. But thankfully, with a little bit of fallback attack and a little bit of shaboom, we get this Ultimate, and I get a perfect dodge. I don't think he does Pitch Black Capsule ever again in this fight, so pretty lucky to be able to get this. So I think that's really cool. Next up is Sproink, who's one of the easiest bosses in the game. I might as well take this time to mention that I'm doing this at like 12 a.m. So if I sound like I'm trying not to be super loud, it's because I am. Anyways, Sproink. He's fat pig. He's very easy to beat. If you have a ranged character, then you can win easy. If you have a physical character, you can win easy. He's insanely easy to beat. The only difficult thing is his soap, which if you don't have a dodge move, you physically can't dodge. But other than that, he is 100% a joke, which makes sense because he's like one of the first bosses you fight in the story mode because, well, obviously they can't throw like, I would say Cat Cradle, but you'll see when we get to Cat Cradle why that's not really that big a deal. So as you can see here, we can kind of just farm bucket chucks. Now, I get hit here once because I get impatient, because, well, you know, soloing bosses kind of takes forever, so I do get impatient and mess up quite a few times, which is how I can prove that I am a human, because I make stupid mistakes. So anyways, we can farm bucket chucks, and that's kind of just the boss. He can heal. My chair's loud. He can heal if you let the fire pit stay fiery, which I do because I tried to kill, but he only heals a little bit of HP, and it's really just not that big a deal. So just turn off the fire pits when he does them, and then you'll be fine. Next up we have SV Snaggerjag. Snaggerjag is kind of nothing. Like, the most interesting thing he has is his Ultimate, which is beaten by fallback attack. I mean, he summons the fish, but from my experience, they don't attack fast enough, and if you pick a character like Boxer Hovernyan, he can just kill the fish before they can do anything. So, really not that big a deal. And Snaggerjag just kind of exists. So, yeah, that's the boss. That's all I've got to say about him, pretty much. Next up is Slimamander, who 90% of people will tell you is the easiest boss in the game. So I decided to make it slightly difficult and bring Arachnievil. Arachnievil is good for this fight until he summons the Mander's eyes, which are the little two floating eye patrol eye looking things. Those are the only things that can kill you. I mean, he can also do the big slurp move, which, if you don't have your fallback attack prepared, can get you off guard, like this. Well, I guess it's the next move, but basically, the Mander's eye is really the only thing that can kill you, so if you could just beat that, then Slimamander is insanely easy, and if you literally just have getaway plushes, then you really should just not be losing this fight, because it's insanely easy. Okay, so now we have the 3 bosses we just did, but they're burned to a crisp, I guess. I don't freaking know. It's literally just the same bosses again, but they hit harder, I think, have more HP, maybe, and you're in Old Springdale now. It's really just the same thing. I'm not even going to bother with Styx Mk.VI because he's basically the same fight as the other one, but I'll come back to Eyedra because I got something funny I want to point out.
This little piggy, Toggle!
like I said, I'm back. And what the heck, why is he using Emperor Usapion already? Well, Emperor Usapion is, honestly, in my opinion, he's one of the best yokai in the game. Regular Usapion kind of sucks because his basic attack is 35 base power. Emperor's is 50. He also has Brilliant Barrage, which I do not take advantage of until like way later, but it is an insanely good move, especially the uncharged version, which I don't show until much later. But anyways, Emperor, on paper, he sounds like he would be really good for this fight. However, not having a dodge move honestly really hurts. So, and he can't even really use a charge attack because it just kind of takes so long. And it's not really far back enough to feel like you're really getting a good crit. So, and plus I did most of these on like a Discord VC, and I was just really getting tired of doing this fight because I was using a physical DPS character, so I just switched to Emperor to get it done. I try to restrict myself to not use Emperor as much as I can because he's, like I said, I think he's one of the best. But he's still pretty cool, so we'll pop him out every now and then when we really need him to carry us and make up for my chronic skill issue. Next up is the Muncher, and I'm using Emperor Usapion again, and spoiler, I'm going to use him once more time for Devourer. That's because I was trying to use Racer Usapion, and he just didn't do as much DPS as I wanted, and I was doing it at like 1 AM. I really wanted to get a lot of these done, so yeah, I'm using Emperor. This time I am using Brilliant Barrage, but there's a good reason, because Brilliant Barrage is actually broken. So it's a new move for Blasters++, and as you can see right there, it just shoots 3 balls of projectile. If any of the balls hit, it'll stun, and it has big base power, and all 3 of them can hit the same enemy. So, theoretically, on a big body like Demuncher, you can do a ton of damage, which I think is super funny. And that's why the Uncharge is very good, but you won't be able to see that till like Swirlious Gold, I think, because I was dumb. Oh wait, nope. You'll see it at Roblanyan 3000. So Demuncher and a few of the earlier mid-tier level bosses, by mid-tier I mean mid like story level, they have this move where they run up to you and punch you. It's not, it doesn't hurt, it's just, you can't really let it happen to you too many times because, well, that damage is permanent. So, yeah, as you can see, he got stunned even though I only hit 1 ball. Now, if you let the ball crit, it does like the same damage as all 3 of them hitting, but you want to hit all 3 of them because then if one of them crits, then you've hit like 5. Brilliant Barrage is very good. Maybe I'll make an in-depth video on Emperor Sapyon being like leagues better than Boo Sapyon, because I think that's pretty cool. Same thing as Demuncher, but now he's purple. And in Old Springdale, I think, no, he's not in Old Springdale, he's at Flat Pot Plains. It's literally just the same fight, except those little Oni incoming patrol eyes that spawn in the actual boss, they can be like advanced or something. High patrol eyes is what I think the blasters, no, it's just what they're called in general. But anyways, it's literally the same fight, but slightly more. I think now there's the golds. Other than that, we're done with the recolors, so it's all unique from here, aside from those two, and Hinozall Awoken, but Hinozall Awoken actually does something special, so he gets a pass. Wobblewok is one of the hardest bosses until you pull out Venoct, then he's just kind of a pain. So the main thing about Wobblewok is that his slap, he shares it with Devourer and Demuncher, but his is way faster, and honestly, it's kind of borderline unreactable. And the worst part is that he also can swap to be invulnerable to either physical attacks or special attacks, so we're going to circumvent that by going invisible and then beating the crap out of him when he can't see us. So, I get hit here, I think. Not hit, but like, seen. But it doesn't really matter because I can just kind of run away and then eventually he loses interest. Then we can go invisible again, and then finish him. But we're not done with the overworld yet.
Be careful. Move out.
So in order to progress to phase 2, we need to go touch that magic mirror, but as you can see there are 5 enemies in front of it. So the reason we take a Venoct is because instead of having to individually fight 5 extra yokai, we can go invisible, like we did with Wobblewok, and then kill them. And then we can do this a second time, and then do something really funny. So the devs didn't force you to have to beat any of these characters. So you can go invisible and just run right past them. I try to get a little bit of soul meter here. So, yeah. The reason we kill the first 2 is because, well, at least I don't think his Vanishing Act would last long enough to get us all the way through. So we just kill the first 2, so that way we can make it through. And now comes the boring part. You have to hope that he becomes blue, so that way we can beat him up as Venoct. And now the worst part is that he still can do that freaking slap. So we can't use fallback attack, because then he'll just slap us, and then we instantly die, and we have to do all that over again. So we kind of just hit him when we can, and then run around. Once he becomes red, we just run around until he becomes blue, and then we just keep going until he starts trying to do his pitch bomber. So normally, once he starts trying to do his pitch bomber, he'll just, you know, that'll just be it, because most of the time, you do so much damage that you force him into his next Pitch Bomber, which we don't do quite that much damage. But thankfully, because we can do so much damage, we can minimize the amount of time we're playing the boring phase of running around, hitting him with a fallback attack every now and then, you know, hoping that he doesn't turn red. And we can do fun things like bully him and beat the crap out of him, and then go invisible and then get tons of crits. So, I know there's like a whole strat where you can just like go hide in the corner, but I never really get it to work and I don't really care to, so we just play the little mini game, and plus I get extra soul meter. So, he turns red, and so we have to kind of do this again. I only get him to do a phase skip once. Phase skip where we skip this part, and we just go straight to another Pitch Bomber. I only get it once, but still, pretty cool. And yeah, other than the boring slap, I like this fight, because I like the little Wobblewoks. I think they're funny. Now we're starting to get to some characters that are actually really difficult, and yes, I'm busting out Emperor Zapion. The reason that this fight is so difficult is because normally, like, the whole running phase where you run down the straight path and he's throwing his Infernal Blast at you, you do that once, maybe twice in a normal party. Here we do it 3 times because I just don't do that much damage when I'm by myself. I could probably fix that if I did this now because I know of the Brilliant Barrage DPS strat, but I'm not doing this again. At least not right now. So, the overworld phase is fine. Just make sure you don't get hit because you're going to need as much HP as you possibly can. Because otherwise, you're going to die once you're like 10 minutes into this fight, and you're going to want to die in real life. Have you ever been playing this part of the fight and then see that he's throwing an Infernal Blast and you can just, you know, hit a quick fallback attack, but then you can just hit a quick weave, but then you start getting to the later parts of the fight and it feels like you can't do that? I am 99% certain that he gets more accurate each time you do that little running phase. So, once you have to make sure you try to preserve as many cards as you can, because, well, you don't have the dodge move, you only have fallback attack, and it doesn't come back fast enough. And there's another problem that'll come once we get to the running part a 3rd time, because, yeah, also, I know I said save your HP, and I'm quite literally almost dead here, but it's just for safety, okay? Do it for do what I say, not what I do. And here's where I lost so many of my runs. You see that Zerberker? He's the problem. Yes, a Zerberker that you probably didn't even know could spawn in, because he can only spawn in once you do this like a 3rd time. So basically, you have to kill this guy, because otherwise he's going to kill you, he's going to come back and he's going to stun you, you're going to get hit on his Rubeus Roast. You know, it's not going to be a fun time. But you can't really just sit there and camp, because if you do try to sit there and camp, he will Rubeus Roast you. And it's not very fun. So, once you get to here, make sure that you don't screw up, because otherwise, you're going to have to do all of this all over again. Trust me, I know from experience. It was not a fun night on that Discord, I tell you that. Now, like I said, I tried to limit the amount of times I used Emperor Sapion, so we're using Blizzaria again, even though she's weak to fire. And this guy summons Comains, whose element is fire. But it doesn't matter. So anyways, Hardy Hound is much easier than Rubeus J, mainly because he doesn't have that whole running phase, and is insanely susceptible to manipulating with, ranged attacks. Because he's got multiple ranged moves, and if you have a ranged character, you can lock him down and honestly just humiliate him in front of his co-main fellows, and it's quite fun, because I was so mad against Rubeus that this was a nice, change of pace. Much like Wobblewok, there are enemies guarding the gate, but we don't need to fight them. Like, they'll hit us a little bit, and then we just kind of activate the gate and run away. And we just barely take any HP, which I think is cool. So I'm going to start running around a little bit while not attacking, and eventually the sound is going to cut out. That's because my headphones were dying when I did this run, and instead of pausing the run to fix it, I just kept going because I wasn't going to do this again. Because even though it's easy, it takes forever. As you could tell by the fact that this video is over 3 hours long. So, I hope you can forgive the fact that there's no sound. That's what this text is for. This is just in case you want to watch the video without my yapping, which I'm offended by. Link in the description, and by the way, for the video if you want yapless version. So, other than that, this fight is really easy and boring. The only difficult part is after his ultimate, he falls down almost instantly. So, you kind of have to make sure you pay attention. I'm pretty sure you can see me literally panic and hit my dodge, then fall back attack, and then ultimate to use every single invincibility frame I have to make sure I don't die, which was hilarious. Now we have Tattleterror, and I'm picking Rubeus J because I didn't want to use Shogunyan because I kind of wanted some diversity in the video to make up for me using Emperor Sapion so much. So Tattleterror, honestly, is probably the most fun fight to do this with because it's a very fast-paced fight. You're quite literally boxing Tattleterror in the middle of the ring. So if you were to give any one of these a try, Tattleterror is like the perfect mix of skill and like speed. It's very fun. It gets your blood pumping every time you hit one of those dodges. Very cool. And yeah, we use a little chibi Red J against buff Tattleterror. Rubeus is like the size of her fist. So yeah. Rubeus also has his little sweep kick as part of the mod, I think. So he's very fun to use. And it's also very good because it can deal with all of the little summons that just appear every now and then, which are kind of a pain to deal with. So Rubeus is actually a pretty good pick, and I really just happened upon him. I like him. He's silly and goofy, and has a big bang attack, like Vegeta. Now, if you're a casual player, you almost would not expect Emperor Sapion on friggin' Mass Mutterer, but Yeah, this guy is actually, I can see why he's in jail, because this guy throws hands. So the main reason that he's so difficult is because if you're up close and personal with him, he will not stop until he kicks you. This kick right here, it's got a 3-piece combo. He will keep trying until he hits all 3 pieces. So physical DPS characters kind of struggle. Range characters kind of struggle too. So Emperor Sapion was absolutely needed. And that's not to mention the next part of the fight, which ironically enough is kind of a little bit easier, mainly because of Sam, and you can just get Mutter to stop, which is the easiest part about the fight. So
We'll show them how we always get away.
in his second phase, I'm not even sure if he can do his little 3-piece combo kick, so he's really just spamming knives, so just don't stand still, and then you should be fine. So, other than that, yeah, it's kind of just, it kind of takes a while, again, even with Emperor Sapion, which is another reason why I used him, because even though it takes forever, if I used another character, it would probably take even longer. So, Emperor Usapion's cool. Much better than regular Usapion. Or regular Buster's Usapion. That's what I mean when I just say Usapion, by the way. Because that's what most people used. Don't worry, I was a Busa main too. And then I learned about plus, and this guy's actually kind of insane. So here we have Sam. And what we can do is kill him in cold blood. And now, Mutter will just sit in pain, and we can bully him. Then every time he gets up, Sam comes back, and we just repeat until we win. Which is pretty good, because that overworld phase is honestly one of the hardest in the game, in my opinion. So here we have McCracken. He also requires Emperor Sapion, in my opinion, because, again, I was doing this really late. And oh my god, McCracken went from, this won't be so bad, to, this is gonna suck, to, okay, it's actually not that bad, to, never mind, this does suck. Quite literally, one move that he does, Guided Squistle. That move is terrible. I hate that move. I tried it with Racer Usapion, and it's kind of inconsistent to cancel with a dodge. This move right here, yeah, it kind of sticks around for like 20 years. So, really, really painful, especially because they took away Emperor Usapion's dodge move, which sucks. You might think that I canceled it with Brilliant Barrage, but no, I just happened to shoot Brilliant Barrage when the thing disappeared. So, if you do this fight enough times, you'll see that it quite literally is unfinished, in that his hitboxes can literally, like, go, like, next to him, but the particles will still be where they should be. Like, literally, the fight starts to decompose over time. It was funny, but also kind of terrifying, because I had no idea what to do. You don't see it in this video, but there were many attempts where the fight literally just started dying. And the worst part is, this fight sucks, and there's more to do later. So, yeah. Forgot to mention too, this Squangly Blast, I don't know how to make it not hit me. The first time it just kind of didn't hit me, but then I used my Ultimate to make sure that it wasn't going to hit me, because you can't really stand next, like, on the corners, because, you know, if you have a dodge move, it's probably not that bad, and if you know what the timing is, it's probably not that bad, but I don't really fight with Kraken very much. And now we're in LSD Kraken, who is even worse. You see that drill move he was about to try to do? That move sucks when you don't have a dodge move. So, the best that I found you could do is, if you're in, like, the later half of the move and you're forced against the wall, if you hit a fallback attack, you won't take damage. Most of the time. There was one time where it kind of didn't really work, but we can use Brilliant Barrage to kind of just keep him away and try to hit him with as many laser blasts as we can, so that way we can just kind of whittle him down over time, try to take advantage of him trying to do 10 tackle, and then do up close Tenadrill, and then, you know, as you can see there, we got 2 crits of Brilliant Barrage. That's like almost 4,000 damage. It's really insane. So yeah, eventually he'll start getting mad, and as you can see here, we can do the fallback attack dodge. So yeah, keep trying to dodge Turbo Tentadrill, and once he gets red, he can do his ultimate, and then it's not quite as bad, but you know, this fight sucks. I hate it. It's probably not that bad when you have other people, but when you're the only target, it slows down by like 10 years. Oh, if the Kraken was so hard, then that means dead time must be difficult, right? Why are you using Draconyan? I had to break my rules for this. This fight is actually impossible. Okay, well, it's theoretically possible to beat, but realistically, you have a higher chance to win the lottery. So, this fight has 3 phases. You have the normal overworld phase, which is nothing really too special. Then you have to fight the Wicked Executives. Then you have to fight regular dead time. It's phase 2 and phase 3 that are the problem, so I'll go come back when that's a thing. Alright, so phase 2 is the Wicked Executives. Now you might think, well, why don't we just use Venoct and go past them? Well, if you notice at the mini-map, the little red pin has disappeared. That's because the door doesn't work until all 5 Wicked Executives are dead. So you have to fight all 5 of these guys. So you might think, oh, well, why don't you just pick Venoct? Well, then we get to phase 3, where she can take away your dodge move. But then, that's not even the main problem. Her move, Soul Sucker, is undodgeable without dodging. So, if she does it twice in a row, you die. Because you'll fall back attack the first one, and if she does it again, and you don't have your ultimate ready, which is very common, it's over. At the end of the video, I have a theoretical run, where I use save states to play out a whole run of what theoretically it would be if you were to solo with Venoct without healing, but because I didn't really want to do that at the time, I'm using Dragunyan. I'm not using a soul on him just to like make it, just kind of make up for the fact that I had to use healing and stuff, and the only healing method I have is his Draconic Lunge or whatever it's called. Basically, whenever I hit the dash attack, I heal. I have a bobble too, so it's quite literally no DPS, but only healing and self-sustainability. So, yeah, this fight is quite literally the hardest fight to solo with these rules. Ironically enough, yes, dead time was very difficult in Yokai Watch 2 for some people, and now is very difficult in Blasters as well. remember when I said I had a bobble on Dragunyan? Well, here's why. My dodge move is gone, and then we try to hit a dash attack, and she, you know, tries to take something else, because that's what she does. Then she does Soul Sucker, I cancel it. She Soul Suckers again, and then does it one more time. If I didn't have the bobble, I would 100% be dead. And then if she Soul Suckers again, at any point right now, I die. So, oh yeah, that's why it's so impossible to do this fight normally. Like, this is a headache to do. Now we have Whisped Cream. Whisped Cream. His difficulty comes in the fact that he is a goddamn tank and does not die. Also, in the Blasters Plus Plus mod, you don't get help from Burly, Signaton, Blizzy, so you don't stun him with the gun. You quite literally just have to box him for a good, 8 minutes or something like that. I'm standing still right here, and anytime I am standing still, it's because I'm playing Yokai Watch Puni Puni. Because I need Y points for gambling purposes, which, ironically enough, I'm playing Chanson, because Chanson is, the DPS machine. So, yeah. The main difficulty about this fight is that, his, big cream sweep move, the hitbox is kind of, much farther ahead of the model, so it's very disjointed looking. So Chanson with fallback attack is pretty cool. And, the little wisp cream, little puffs, cream puffs, they're a pain. Thankfully, we don't have to do that part where we run around anymore, courtesy of Blasters Plus Plus. So, cut back to when we get big Whisped Cream. So Chanson's ultimate is a self-buff, but even with that buff, we do 130 damage on a crit. Yeah, this guy's defense is through the roof. And he kind of has normal, Ultra Boss HP. So he's meant to take a while, and then this little cream puff thing, you kind of just hope that there's not very many. And then you can very easily bait out and attack from them, and then hit them. So they're not too big of a pain, but they just make this fight last even longer. So other than that, the fight's not very difficult, and you get to sit here for the rest of it. I'm gonna go come back when we're at Hovernyan 28. Robanyan 28 shares the skeleton with Robanyan 3000 as probably, in my opinion, the hardest boss in the game. Not really because of Robanyan himself. I mean, like, he does have an attack for no matter your position. If you're far away from him, he has the belly rockets, so you have to move. If you're behind him, he has his little tail jab. If you're beside him, he's got the Gatling gun. If you're in front of him, he's got the big Destructo Beam. So, and then he's also got that Power Paw, which actually has a deceptively large hitbox. So, he's not really the problem. The problem comes in that his summons, like many of these bosses are starting to get, other summons are quite a pain. He summons Robanyans. Those things hit like a truck. Not like a truck. They hit like trucks. They are trucks. They will kill you if you let them hit you enough. So, I'll come back when they're here, so I can protect you. Around when his HP gets above the N in his name is when he will look for an opportunity to spawn Robanyans. And so we'll just kill them with this ultimate. They might think, okay, well now they're just dead. There's not really much of a problem. He does it again. And honestly, your fate is in their hands. Sometimes the Robanyan will just not do anything. Rarely you can bait down an attack like that, but 90% of the time I just died when I tried to do that, so they're the reason why this hurts so much. As you saw, one rocket punch decimated Shogunyan's HP. So, like, this is with Oni Smasher Sky, but even with a bobble, then our damage is kind of cut and we can't kill them as fast, and it's just kind of, like, without healing, they are a pain, just in general. And the worst part is we have to do it again, and then we'll have to hope that the Robanyan will let us through, which most of the time they don't. Usually around this point is when he tries to spawn them again, but just like the first time, once you kill them, as long as he's, you know, still at the similar HP level, he'll just spawn in some more. Just like a wild animal, if you kind of sit there, they'll be more, you know, calm. They won't be as agitated. I'm trying to bait out a rocket punch from both of them, but I only got it for one, and I thought, you know what, if I don't do this now, I might just die. So, thankfully, the other Hovernyan decided to patiently wait there and just let me attack. I just happened to hit one dodge, and thank God I did. Usually, I try to like dodge towards them because that's when, usually when you approach one of them, the other one will try to attack you. But sometimes if you approach them specifically, they'll try to attack you. Now, as you can see, I kill him and he kills me at the same time. This is honestly one of the coolest fights to explain. Because we kill Robanyan, we win. Doesn't matter what happens afterwards. Usually you can't even die after you kill the boss. But I guess as a failsafe, it just forces you to win, much like if you were ascended and then your teammates clear the boss. The reason I think this is a failsafe is because our Oni orbs get a failure penalty, which I didn't even know was a thing. So honestly, this is just one of the coolest clips ever. So I honestly thought it was pretty funny. I like it. Kabu King. Bright view, wonderful view, I get to play as Blizzaria. Kabu King is not very difficult. He's just kind of a pain, mainly because of his spotlight thing, where if you don't get the heal, which is the one of the times where the boss will directly heal you, if you don't get that, he will heal and get a defense bonus. So you kind of want to make sure he doesn't get that, because then you have to play this fight even more, and well, he kind of has a lot of HP, and I didn't want to use Emperor Sapion because I use him enough. Now break a leg, you want to make sure that you hit because, you know, it's more time you get to just wail on him. So that's really the fight. We just kind of do this over and over again. I didn't use a physical DPS character because he has the big stomp move, which honestly is a lot more difficult to deal with the physical character, so I picked Blizzaria because I just don't have to deal with it. He's not too bad, especially if you have teammates, but for soloing he's actually kind of difficult just because of that stomp, just basically invalidating the physical DPS characters. So really it's just ranged characters and then Emperor Sapion who kind of just kill him. So other than that, he's cool though. So I like Kabu King. I think he's got a cool design, and his boss fight is good aside from the fact that his camera is force locked and I literally can't even see half the time. So other than that, he's goated. hidden within all of these super difficult bosses is Cat Cradle, who is honestly one of the easiest bosses once you figure out how he works. Yeah, it's a he. Puni confirmed, because there's no U2 watch, which is the female watch. So anyways, a Cat Cradle is very easy. Basically, I'm using Arachnievil to prove how easy it is, because if I get hit once, I die. Like, sometimes you can kind of get bad luck, but, like, the tornado always goes in a counterclockwise motion, so just go the opposite. Like, you can run around, or you could be goated and hit a fallback attack. I wouldn't really recommend. I'd recommend learning how to run around it. So that's that move dealt with. The big meteor, you just get out of the way, like, quite simple. Or you can hit a fallback attack and be goated like I am. The little whirlpools, you kind of just have to, like, figure out what the pattern is. Like, after enough attempts, you kind of just learn how they move. So with a little bit of practice, this fight is really just not that bad. And Arachnievil is very fun. It's very fun to do. I did this like years ago with terrible quality, and now here we are a few years later, and I'm still doing the same thing. It's very cool. Very fun. Next up we have the man himself, Hinozall. I'm using Shogunyan here. Honestly, the overworld part is the real difficult part of this phase, because he cannot summon, at least I think, he can't summon anything but regular employees in his overworld phase. His like big boss phase. His overworld phase is just kind of a pain because, well, you don't really need to focus on it. And plus you get extra practice against it by fighting normal Hinozall. I mean Hinozall Awoken. It's late, okay? Like, give me a break. So, Blockbuster Beam. Like, that's just it. Sometimes he'll hit you with different patterns. You gotta just kind of move out of the way. figure it out. So once you get past this phase, then the big boss phase, it really isn't that bad. Sometimes he'll summon like Tattleterror, Jibanyan. Rarely he can summon Gargaros, but really you probably know him summoning Gargaros from Hinozall Awoken, which I don't think at least, I don't think he can do in his normal Hinozall phase. So, thank God, because that would just make the run a little bit more inconvenient. So Big Boss Hinozall is pretty easy, mainly just because if you have a physical DPS character, you can just, well, if you have any character, you can quite easily dodge his inspiration strikes. And then once he starts summoning his veteran employees, they can literally help you in DPS, which is super cool. Like, W employees, honestly. So, it's very useful with regular Hinozall because he can only summon the gunmen, which are very easy to force to hit Hinozall, and then your damage like doubles, which super cool. So other than that, you're kind of just sitting here because you're the only target. You can force the mysterious barrier to disappear, so then it just becomes free damage. So ironically enough, the fight that becomes easier to solo than it is to be with teammates. Red Paws, Racer Zapion. I'm kind of running out of things to say. Anyways, Red Paws. For the cats, you stand on the white squares to be safe. For the dogs, you stand on the red squares to be safe. I just wanted to point that out because I didn't even remember. So, anyway, Racer Zapion is really good because you would think a physical DPS character would be good for this fight, and they are. unless Claws summons a Goldenyan. And if you remember the Robonyans from Robonyan 28, they hurt. So we use Racer Usapion, so that way I'm not using Emperor Usapion. If you want Emperor Usapion, just wait for Swirlious Omai, because ironically enough, I find Swirlious harder than the Paws. So, I don't know why that is, but if you have a physical DPS character and you have a method of healing, if you stand like at his like thighs, hind legs, you can just stand there and he doesn't have an attack that can hit you. He has to turn and then hit you with something. Or you have to be standing on the red. Yawning. But yeah. Sometimes he can catch you with the red fire platforms thingies. So can Swirlious. It's really the only difficult part, because you might think, okay, well, he hasn't done the blast in a bit, I'm gonna run, try to risk it, and then you get blasted. Happened a lot. So, other than that, this fight's not really that bad. His Sultimate's not that bad, maybe it's because I was using Racer Usapion and he runs really fast, but other than that, yeah, just kind of not too terrible of a fight, but still kind of sucks, because it takes forever, especially with the big, like, pole you gotta slide down. Yeah, kind of takes a while if you mess up. Now, Swirlious Omai. Gonna require some of that Emperor Usapion. I actually come from the part of the world where this sort of accent is commonplace. You just never hear me talk like this because I sound stupid. Anyways, Swirlious Omai, he doesn't have Goldanyans, so why do I think he's more difficult? Well, instead of like the slash with the paw like Red Paws has, he's got the bite. The bite is like instantaneous. You basically have to like prepare for it mentally rather than react. He's got the Glacier move, which he loves to put on the platforms you can't see, so you will literally run into his like ice. It happened to me so many times. I'm not sure if it's too common with regular Omai, but for gold it is definitely pretty common. Like this move. You see that? It hit 3 different squares. Like what the heck, bro? So then his like you might think, okay, well I can bring a physical character. Well, there's the bite right there. look, it's what I'm talking about. Anyways, so he eventually gets the move Holy Howl, which is an AoE stun move. Now it does no damage, so you might think it's okay to get hit by, but he can stun you onto a white platform, and then by the time you mash out, he summons the fire, and then you die. So that's why I think he's harder than regular claws. To solo at least, but with people it's probably easier to beat paws and claws. I mean, probably easier to beat the dogs, so yeah. Now we're on to the Moon Rabbit crew update, and we have Captain Thunder. Now Captain Thunder is not really that bad when you have other people, but by yourself, he's still not really that bad. But the fight is so long, you're bound to mess up. So I have kind of a weird kit for this one. I know I said I wouldn't really talk about kits, but it's kind of interesting. I have a Bobble, and then I have the Lord Enmasoul, which is new, or at least is made accessible via Blasters++ Mai. every minute I will Great Change, which doesn't give me my ultimate, but gives me the Great Change effect where I get faster, stronger, stuff like that. So the reason I have that is because, well, as you can see, even with a bobble, I still kind of take a lot of damage right here. So it's really just a safety net to make up for the fact that I'm not perfect. So because I can't heal, this fight kind of takes forever. Anybody think Emperor Sapphire would actually be really good for this fight? Not with his shot number 3 and then eventually shot number 9. Because you only have fallback attack, it's, at least for me, it's like quite almost impossible to dodge the attack. Like for here, it's not really that bad, but if he's like doing it multiple times, which he loves to do if you're trying to play Emperor, and you have to, stand back, he loves spamming that move. And I swear, he can like actually aim like a person. So, yeah. Other than that, he's not really too bad in his first phase, so we'll go to his second phase. I mean, the Spark and Shock move, I kind of hate it because sometimes it feels like he delays it just enough to where I dodge too early. So, other than that, he's not really that bad.
Look out! Here I come! Here I come! Here I come!
Once he goes shirtless, he then gets access to the big spin move, and then he shoots the shot number 3 twice, which I guess he multiplied because then he gets shot number 9. Is there 9 bullets? 5 and then 4? That's genius. Anyways, that's why I have Great Change. I took 26 damage right there. So, aside from his physical attack, which you can dodge pretty easy, the hitbox is like a lot like earlier. Like here, the hitbox is now when the move hits. So it's kind of a pain to dodge sometimes, but I just stay back because I kind of get tired of it. It just takes forever. It's really it, especially because he keeps flying around. It's really a pain. Once he gets to like half of his HP or whatever, whenever he starts trying to do his Operation Omega Ultimate, then it becomes easy because then they start shooting the Mochi Cannon, and now you can get a ton of damage off. I get a Great Change Ultimate, which is fire. So, yeah. The longer you go, the easier the fight gets, but it's still a massive pain because it takes quite a while. here we are. This is what I think is the hardest boss in the game, Hovernyan 3000. So take what I said about 28 and turn it up. His Hovernyan's are now Hovernyan Fs. They will two-shot Oni Smasher Sky Emperor Sapion. So you get to mess up once. Now, I just went straight to Emperor Sapion because I knew this is like the hardest fight in the game. And the reason for that is because he has the skeleton of Hovernyan 28, who already has a pretty robust kit, and then adds Dark Top to it. Dark Top really isn't that bad, but, you know, it's just another thing he can do. Now, as you can see, I used the uncharged version of Brilliant Barrage. It has a very low cooldown, and if you hit multiple shots, it does the same amount of damage as his basic attack, but it can hit Leo 3 times. So you essentially get a more powerful version of your basic attack that does the same amount of damage as a critted basic attack when it crits. So ironically enough, the hardest fight in the game gets the shortest amount of time in this video because the clear took like 3 minutes. So yeah, here's his Hovernyan's. We get a charge, and just, you know, because the fight's so fast, we can get away with running Emperor Sapion because he doesn't try to spawn quite as often, it feels like. There's my one mistake I get. I let the Hovernyan hit me, and you can see the Dark Top spinning in the back. It's already done, but it's just something you gotta keep an eye out for, because it can come and rock you. So, yeah. I can kind of keep talking for all of this because, like I said, it is literally the shortest fight, because when you take one of the best characters in the game and kind of use him to his full potential against the hardest boss in the game, it kind of works pretty well. So, like, I say hardest boss, but obviously dead time is more difficult in this scenario, but in most scenarios, Hovernyan 3000 is the hardest fight. So, yeah, we'll just kind of keep yapping away, and we're kind of getting close. I try to, like, save my big Brilliant Barrage for when I know he's going to try to spawn the Hovernyan's. So, I get him to, like, around here, and I know he's going to try to start spawning them, so I wait, I shoot them, and I just happen to kill him. So, it doesn't really matter that I saved it, but yeah, fastest clear on Hovernyan 3000. This took many attempts. This wasn't easy, I want you to know, but that's because I've figured out that he's really good when you let him do that. I use a turbo mode to mash the A button, by the way. That's why that happens at the door sometimes. Just want you to know. So now we have Zazel, and I'm using Lord Enma because it's fitting. It's really it. Like, obviously Emperor would be better for this, but Enma can work pretty well. So the setup I have is weird. I'm using Oni Smasher Sky and the Captain Thunder Soul, and I'm going to be using Enma as a ranged projectile user with his Enma Orb. The reason for this is because I wanted to use Enma because it was fitting. I didn't get to use Enma, and I mean, it's not like Enma's good. Like, he's fine, but like, I have Invincible Stance here because he doesn't get a dodge move, but he gives you 5 seconds of invincibility, which 5 seconds is a long time, as you can see. So basically, we just kill Zazel, run away from the other two. Once they stop trying to chase me, I hit an Enma Orb, hope I get a crit for 900, and we just keep doing that. As the fight goes on, it gets easier and easier because then Elictacat and Duke Drooly aren't trying to kill me. And then Zazelmare is pretty easy. We just basically do the same thing. So, yeah, we'll just cut back to Zazelmare so I can give my thoughts on him, I guess. You remember when I said some bosses can be humiliated by looping them to force them to use their projectile over and over again? Yeah, Zazel is probably the worst case of that. I can just quite literally run circles around him, hit him with an Enma Orb, slightly sidestep, and there we go. That's the Ultra Zazel phase beaten until we get to Zazelmare.
Impossible.
So the mighty Zazelmare is not really that bad. So we hit the Supreme Enma Blast, hit Invincibility Stance, and then the fight usually just comes down to hitting him with Enma Orb, letting him, you know, do his Zazelmare run. Eventually, you can like kind of run in front of him and then run beside him to force him to do the Zazel Nail. But even if he does the spin, you'll have enough time to get out of the way. And if he's running at you like that, eventually he'll just give up and then shoot you, or shoot at you. So yeah, it's also cool that Enma goes Awoken every minute. I say Awoken, that would be sick though. He goes great every minute, so I get faster, stronger, take less damage in case I mess up. I do 2,300 damage on a crit like that, so it speeds up the process. And yeah, like even his ultimate isn't really that bad. I have the invincible stance if I need it, and then once we get to the Enma part where we hit the ultimate back to him, it's really not that bad. Just kind of takes a minute, but compared to other fights, this is like child's play. So you remember Red Paws, right? Well, we just do the same thing. The only difference is that he starts doing the 1 safe board, 8 safe board pattern at like 50% HP, and then he does a 2 safe patterns that go in like a orbital type motion once he's at like 20% or something. Other than that, it's the exact same fight. Stand on the white squares, you're safe. Just like that.
Get in it to win it! Get in it to win it!
In between the golden beasts, we have Hinozall Awoken, and I'm using Total Demon. So he's been buffed to have a ranged basic like Blizzaria, and I'm using Overheat, I think is the move. It is a 300 base power fire move that lowers your spirit for 10 seconds after it's done. Basically, if you watch his HP bar for a second, you'll see that he does, well, I don't do it here, but, because of course, like, on the run I get it. But as you can see right there, it does 4,000 damage. Oh, that's really freaking good. So, the burnout is insanely useful to deal with the veteran employees. So, because if you get a physical character, they can quite literally stun lock you until you die. So, I'd recommend using a ranged character, and funnily enough, Total Demon actually works pretty well. So, even though we get another one, burnout just one-shots if it crits. So, yeah, I like the move, and Total Demon's pretty fun now too. So, yeah, fun fight. If, like, once you get 3 veterans, you can't do as much. I mean, for just 3 regular employees, you can't do as much DPS. But then the employees start becoming your DPS, and then it's not that bad. So even though we get 3 veterans in a row, it's just really nothing. And this is your final appearance of Emperor Usapion. Kind of anticlimactic because it's just regular Swirlious Omai, but a little bit harder. And he's gold. Again, stand on the red squares, and you'll be fine. I also take advantage of the DPS version of Brilliant Barrage, so I think the fight's a little bit faster. I haven't actually timed it, and I don't care to check. But, yeah. So, if I could go back, I would definitely be using the DPS Brilliant Barrage, but I'm not doing this again. Or at least not right now. Anyways, enjoy it. I'll come back to Shogun King. So I actually have this genius setup for Shogun King. It's Blizzaria, right? But instead of Ultimate Beam and Swelterrier Soul, I'm using Creator Wand, which is 40 more spirit and 20% extra damage. when I'm at full HP, which I plan to stay at for the whole fight. And the Enma Soul. Yeah, I'm using the Enma Soul again for Great Change. The reason is because it half the time will just nullify the slowdown of Curse of the Fallen. So instead of getting absolutely bullied and getting my damage negated half the time because I'm just having to dodge, the Great Change will just say no to that slowdown, and I'll be able to actually hit him. So this won't take 20 years. This took like 6 attempts, I think, which isn't really too bad considering it's Shogun King, who's considered by some as the hardest fight in the game, and I soloed it with Blizzaria. So, yeah. Other than that, enjoy, and I'll come back for the theoretical dead time solo run. here we are, the final boss of this video. So, this is dead time, but I used tool-assisted speedrun tools to map out what would theoretically be a good, perfect run. I say perfect, I took damage against the Wickeds with Venoct when I'm supposed to be invisible. It's not perfect. I mainly just reset and did save things when I got to her freaking Dame. Is it Dame Demona? Or whatever. Anyways, if you're at this part, whether you watch the whole video through, which I highly doubt, or you just click the timestamp, oh, thank you for watching. This took me quite a while. It took me bare minimum 4 hours, which really equates to more like 4D, maybe 40 hours. So here, hope you enjoy. This was pretty fun to do, even though sometimes it didn't feel like it. Dedtime's gonna walk through the building, by the way. I just wanted to point that out so you'll be on the lookout. Once I go invisible again, she's gonna go back like to her spot by walking through a building. I don't know why she did that, but she did. So, anyways, hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned something. And, yeah. Like, subscribe, and the next Blasters Plus Plus video you will see won't even really be Blasters Plus Plus. It'll just be a boss ranking on difficulty for soloing and for general. So, yeah. Thank you, and bye, I guess.